It has ended Liverpool, Crystal Palace 0, Liverpool 0 at Selhurst Park. Unbelievable, like, the state of that. It felt like a loss, honestly. Like, how can you not get 3 points at all? How can you not get 3 points out of that game? We should have won that game in the second half, but that first half was the most shambolic first half I have ever seen from those Liverpool players this season. Let's start in goal. Alisson, he had a lot to do, but it's mainly the defense that was letting him down as well. No one is noticing this, but Joel Matip is getting worse and worse every other game, and Trent Alexander-Arnold cannot defend. It's time that we move on with him. It's time that he needs to take up responsibility and show that he has not been good at defending. And I think come summer, do we look towards a new right-back signing, or we rely on Calvin Ramsey to be that permanent right-back? If he indeed does well for us in that right back position. But yeah, honestly, a disgrace from Trent, absolutely disgraceful. I'm glad he was still subbed off, but that was still terrible defending from Trent. Joel Matip is not good enough anymore. It's time for him to move on, because he was shaky at the back. He was shaky, giving away. He's so shaky in defending, I feel like he's more of a midfielder than a defender, honestly, because he looks more like he can go more forward whenever it's possible. I don't know what he does now. It was just terrible from Joel Matip. The only good man in our defense tonight, Virgil van Dijk. Only one doing the hard work, and the only one who was putting in the tackles. But still, he is lacking that leadership quality that this back four needs. He's not showing that at the moment. He's a great player, one of our better defenders, one of the better defenders of that back four tonight. But he needs to be taking more leadership of that back four. He needs to reorganize his back four. As a world-class centre-back, he needs to be better than that. Tell Trent that he needs to put in a tackle, shout at him that he needs to do better than that. Andy Robertson was invisible today, I'm sorry to say. He was invisible. I did not see him at all. The corner that he took in that second half, what kind of a cross was that? You get performances like this, but Andy Robertson was invisible today. 3 for him. I'm sorry. Okay, moving to the midfield. James Milner, the only better midfielder in that midfield 3 in the first half. And in the second half, he was dropped back to right back when Trent came off for Fabinho. Jimmy Milner has been surprisingly one of our better players this season, because at right back, obviously. Midfield, I don't think he was the best, but he was only the best because Jordan Henderson is not caring anymore. He is not the captain that we once knew. And Jordan Henderson is too old, honestly. And Jimmy Milner is outperforming a so-called aging Jordan Henderson. Jimmy Milner, a 37-year-old Jimmy Milner, is outperforming a 32-year-old Jordan Henderson. It is a disgrace. Jordan Henderson needs to be sold in the summer. It's time for you to go, mate. I'm sorry, but it's time for you to go. You are not good enough for this club anymore. We thank you for your services, but you are just simply not good enough. If you're not good enough to put out a good performance like that, Jordan Henderson, when he sees the ball, there's no one there. He just watches it, expecting someone else to do it. Run for it. At least do something other than just watch the ball roll towards the Palace player when you're just a few centimeters away from him. Why can you not just make a tackle at least, or just try and make an effort to win the ball back? It's not that hard. Jordan Henderson today, 4. Disgraceful. Naby Keita should never start again, because we technically would have lost that game. When he put that ball out for what was almost an own goal, that was my limit. That was it. It's just time for you to go. That was my limit for him. It's time for him to go as well. He is he, like, ever since he's returned from his injury, like, he had a good start after returning back from his injury. I thought he was one of the better midfielders at that point of the season in January, but now, with that shitty performance, no. 3 for Naby Keita, he was absolutely terrible. Terrible. Diogo Jota, I mean, I don't know what to say, really. Like, there were some times where he did well. There were some times where he didn't do well. He's coming back from an injury. I can't really blame him, but I'm gonna give him a 4 today. It wasn't the best, and it wasn't the best, and it wasn't the baddest. But he needs to be better than that. Cody Gakpo. Bit of good and bad from Cody Gakpo, but I mean, you can't blame him. He's been latched onto a team that relies on him at this point in time, because it feels like we're relying too much on Cody Gakpo. I think we need lesser reliability on Cody Gakpo. We need more to focus on our other players, and it wasn't the best from Gakpo today, but I think he was one of the better of our front three today. I'm going to give Gakpo a 5 because he's still adjusting. I can't blame him, really. Mo Salah, 4 today. Like, as much as he did all he could, he still is making the weirdest of decisions ever. Playing it back and not taking his shot strong enough in that first half. Was a bit better with his shots in the first half, but he just ghosted again. He ghosted again. I don't know what it is from Mohamed Salah for him to think that he should be deserving of £350,000 a week when you're putting out a performance like that against the Crystal Palace side that has not won a single game in 2023. It's a disgrace. Mo Salah needs just to regain that confidence that he has once had, but he needs to stop. And he needs to fess up and own up that he has not been good this season. 4 for Mohamed Salah. The substitutes. So Roberto Firmino didn't really have all much to do, honestly. But at least he tried. I'll give Bobby a 5. At least he tried to get that ball in from, I don't know, whoever it was that played that ball to him. But at least he tried. This Fabinho should never, what's the point? It's time for him to go as well. I'm sorry, there are a lot of players tonight that need to go. Klopp needs to clear out this club in the summer. Fabinho gone, a lot of players need to be gone because you can't just do that. Fabinho giving away needless fouls. He's gotten a yellow card in almost every single game he started this year in 2023. It's unbelievable the amount of yellow cards he's gotten. Like, he's needlessly making tackles out of nowhere. Like, he just needs to be better. Does he need to refine his form? He's not convincing me at the minute if he thinks he can refine his form. But he was not good enough either today. 4 for him. Even as a sub, I think it was a 4 performance for him. Poor, and he's deserving of a 4. And I think that's me being generous, honestly. Harvey Elliott was the best of our midfield, I'm sorry to say. For the second half when he came on, he felt like silk. But then it just went away. I'm going to give Harvey Elliott a 5 because he's still a young lad. And he will learn. He'll still learn from these mistakes. But he is being put into a midfield role that he is not supposed to be in and is more of an attacking player than a midfield player. But he still did what he could. 5 for him. Now, Stefan Bajicic. Within that few minutes that I saw of him, he did a lot. He did more than any other player that day, even though he had a few minutes left. Olise is running all on the way on that left side, on that right side, and Bajicic puts in a tackle. That was none of our midfielders today. None of them. Not a single one of them won a tackle. Fun fact, we didn't deserve to win that game because we have an aging midfield. We have an aging defense. Virgil van Dijk is respectable because he's still got something to show for it as a world-class centre back. But Joel Matip is old and needs to go. Andy Robertson, still under the age of 30, but he's getting old as well. Trent, the idea of him being as a right back is getting old, and I think we need to ship him out. And just like maybe what Ten Hag did with Sancho, he needs to work on his defending. I think Klopp needs to do that with Trent as well. He needs to work on his defending. Go into the mountains, go learn some Tai Chi or voodoo magic that Ten Hag did with Sancho. Work on his defending. But we did not deserve to receive that draw last night. We did not deserve it. And if we're going to go like that in the game against Wolves, where hopefully we will get Darwin Núñez back, and let's be honest, Darwin Núñez has been our better player so far in these last few games. Everton, Real Madrid, Newcastle. He's given goal contributions in each and every one of them. And we need to be better against Newcastle, against Wolves on Wednesday. The only positive we can take from this is that we're above Brighton for once. And we are in 7th place because Fulham drew last night. And Brighton didn't play their game because due to the fact that Newcastle had the Carabao Cup final against Manchester United tomorrow. So thank you to Newcastle for that. And thank you to Manchester United for that final. And yeah, and that is it. All I can say is it was a disgraceful performance. We need to be better. And honestly, we're going to need a really big club clear out. The minimum that we need to clear, the minimum of the current squad that we need to sell in the summer is 4. Because that's how bad this team is. Yeah, and I'll see you in the next video.